Hey everyone, Crash here. I just wanted to give you a review and tell you my experiences with my 24 function button box by SimGarage. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. Just as an FYI, I had this mounted to my rig with some Velcro and double-sided tape. So as I'm, putting it down and lifting it up, you may hear it go, and I apologize about that, but it is what it is. And so yeah, this is the 24 function button box. We're going to try to make this a little quick here. I purchased this probably about, I would say 3 months ago now, and I've been racing quite often, and I've been using it quite a bit. So this particular model, like I said, is the 24 function button box, but it's also the 24 function slant. And you can see right there, it has a little bit of a slant to it. It comes with some rubber feet that you can install on the corners, and this is, kind of ideal for the people that sim race tabletop. And reason being, you put it flat down on the table, it has a little bit of an angle downward, so that way it's a little bit more ergonomic for anyone that's racing tabletop. You don't have to mount it on the face side of your desk, or screw something to the side of your desk or anything like that. It just makes it a lot more ergonomic for anyone that's doing it that way. Can it be used elsewhere? Of course. And that's the way I was going to mount it. The way I did mount it is on a surface that is kind of leaning a little bit away. And with that downward angle, I wanted something that would bring it a little bit more true and straight up and down, so that way I could reach it a lot easier and I could see it a lot easier when I'm in the rig. So right now it's mounted kind of like this. You can see it, even though it's mounted on this angle here, it being slanted, it kind of brings it a little bit more truer to that straight up and down position. It's still got an angle away from me, but it's a lot more ergonomic, a little bit easier for me to see, and that's why I really ordered it and really like it. Some of the options that I got is literally one option, because this is for the most part the way that it's shown on the website, with these clear switch covers and pretty much the silver buttons, the white faces here. The only thing I got, which was a few extra bucks, forgot exactly how much it was the 3M Dynoc carbon fiber vinyl inlay. And I really like the way this box is made, and with carbon fiber vinyl, or any vinyl for that matter, you could see, like on the plastic face, you could see this defined edge here, and that's because the faceplate itself of it is kind of recessed back into the case. So when they put the vinyl, they only put it on the faceplate, which is fine. Reason being is because being that it's recessed a little bit, you don't get that edge that can lift up. Pretty important. Over time, things like that start to lift up and you have to worry. So, kind of makes it a lot easier to take care of, and you almost are certain it will last a lot longer. When you order these from simgarage.com, I ordered it off the website. I wasn't aware of it at the time, but after talking with the guy, his name is Steve, I believe. I believe it's Steve. You could pretty much order it from him over the phone, or send them an email, and you could get it customized any way you want. You could get these switches in whatever color you want, multiple colors. Same thing with these covers here. You can get them in any color, any orientation. Pretty much the pictures that you see on the website are good templates, and that's how I ordered mine, because I really like the design of it. But you could pretty much get it any way you want. You could do whatever the heck you want with them. And if you're looking at it, you're probably like, hey Crash, I'm looking at 26 functions. Well, no, it is only 24. Reason being is you have these here, you have these here, okay? Now once you start getting up here, you start getting a little confused with these. At least I did, and I was not aware that these only function in one direction. And that's it. So in that upward position, they're actually sending a signal. When you put the covers down, there's no signal. So signal, signal, no signal. And so that's how you get 24 different functions. Now, the way I use it is, and this is just personal preference, I use these for a lot of my command keys. for conversations. So, you know, yes, no, okay, thank you, sorry, blah, blah, blah. I use these for a lot of the functions I use most often, like pass left, pass right, or, you know, pit in, pit out, stuff like that. I use these myself for, you know, adding 2 gallons of fuel, adding 10 gallons of fuel, or however I want to customize that. Brake bias front, brake bias rear, so on and so forth. Maybe changing, you know, right front, right rear, left front, left rear. You can do whatever you want with it, and that's kind of the magic of a button box. You're not relying on a keyboard, or, you know, where you could end up mashing a whole bunch of buttons at one time. You have very separated and very specific buttons that you can make whatever you want. I definitely recommend, if you don't have a button box at all, that you get one. And especially if you do get one that has this many functions, you should probably temporarily label each button until you remember. It took me a little while to remember how I laid it out, and I ended up switching things around quite a few different times. But, you know, it only took me about a week, and then I started remembering. But if you can, definitely label them, and it will just ease in the process of trying to remember what the heck you did, because there's so many different functions, especially in games like iRacing, that you could set. So there was a problem that I had, and I was kind of contemplating whether or not to say it. But, you know, me doing a review and giving you my experiences, I have to be accurate. I can't just sugarcoat everything. When I received the box, only about 2 or 3 days later, it stopped working, and I reloaded the drivers, basically ruled out that it was my computer completely. I sent the company an email, only to receive a call back within a half hour. He called me back instantly and left a voicemail. I ended up calling him back, and, you know, being around people for a while, you can kind of tell when people are kind of like playing things up. And this gentleman definitely was not. He was genuinely upset that one of these died in the field. He never had that happen before. And, you know, judging by the way he handled this situation, I believe him. Basically what happened, he asked me if I was comfortable doing this, and I opened it up while on the phone with him, and we found out the USB controller board, where the USB cable plugs into the board itself, that plug came off the board. And he doesn't make the board himself. That specific board, you know, of course you source it, but it looked like just a quality control issue with the soldering of that one particular plug, because the rest of the board looked great as far as all the solder points, as well as his soldering himself. There's a lot of wires in here. Soldering is phenomenal elsewhere. It just looked like I had that one, you know, outlier, 1% of a, you know, quality control issue, and just so happened to land in my lap. So I mailed it to him, and he covered shipping both ways. And the day he received it, I seen on the tracking information, the day he received it is also the same day that I got tracking information back from him saying it was at sort facility. So he, you know, fixed it and sent it out the same day. And that's phenomenal. And then he gave me a call after he knew I received it, because he wanted to know if I was still happy with the product, how he could rectify anything that may have came up, or any concerns I have, and just overall, how well is it working. And, you know, that's something that's rare these days, and it's a shame. You know, you want to feel when you're buying a product, and especially if you're putting quite a few, you know, quite a bit of money down or on something, even though this is one of the least expensive button boxes I've seen out there. But, you know, regardless, anything you buy at all, you want to feel like that the manufacturer or the company or whoever it is has your back a little bit, you know. And I genuinely feel that now with this, you know, with simgarage.com. I would gladly buy from them again. And, you know, I actually am contemplating picking something else up from them. Mainly, not only because of how much I like the button box, but the experiences with this failure that I had basically cemented me in their company and their morals. And that sometimes far out surpasses the product itself, is how well do they treat their customers. And just with that experience alone, they won me over. There could be another company selling something at a competitive price, and yeah, I will take a look at it, but I know Sim Garage is going to have my back if I have a failure now. And just by the way they treated me as a customer and as a person, yeah, I'll definitely buy from them. And that will probably outweigh any price decision between their product and something else. So, take that for what it is. I'm big on customer service. And again, Sim Garage, thank you for rectifying the situation as fast as you did and making me feel like you had my back. And you definitely did, because I got it back extremely quickly. Why would someone need a button box? Well, if you're just starting out in iRacing, you're going to find that a lot of the cars are, they already have a setup. They already have the fuel required. Everyone has the same thing. You're not going to run out of fuel. As you progress in the licenses and the different categories, you're going to find that you're going to have to do your own setups. It's very much on you. It's like bringing your own car to the track a little bit more. You're going to have to do your own suspension setups. You're going to have to figure out your own brake biases. And that's where you're going to need something like this. You're going to need to, on the fly, set up how much fuel you're going to need. You're going to have to make pit stops and say, hey, just give me a splash of fuel, or I need 10 gallons of fuel. I'm going to need my right and left tires, or, I'm going to need to change my brake bias because my tires are starting to wear out in a weird way. Things that, you're going to need to change on the fly, you're going to need one of these. And as you start progressing through the different licenses and things get a lot more serious, the races get a lot more tight, and mistakes have to be minimalized in order for you to stay competitive, you're going to realize that a keyboard is really not the best decision. Not even slightly, because when you're looking at the screen and you're going in through a turn 3 wide, you can't focus on a computer keyboard at all. Even some of these smaller ones, like the wireless one that I have, the keys are so small and they're so jammed together. I commonly, even staring at the keyboard, will hit 2 keys. So this here, you could reach over and by feel know which one you're hitting. And that's where these come into play. Not only do they look great and the buttons are spaced out and the buttons have really good feel to them, but by feel you could figure out where you are on them, and that's what's important. So the different buttons that we have here is we have these single little buttons here that have a nice little springy resistance to them. They don't really have a tactile click, but they have a nice springy resistance. These bigger buttons here, you feel like you could punch them and they wouldn't break. They have a very short throw. They don't have a click again. It's just like a spring resistance, but you know that you have pushed it and you know you have engaged it. These toggle switches here, very, very positive click. These require quite a bit of force to engage, and you feel like that they will probably outlast most other things on your rig. Very, very nice, substantial feel to them, and you kind of get the feeling that, these switches were not cheap, and that's not something you want to feel when you're buying a product like this, especially if you wanted to enhance your simulation experience. So same thing with these switches. I mean, these covered switches, if I really had the need for them, I would gladly take these out and put them in my car if I was building one. I obviously don't have any need for them with my CTSV, but these are definitely auto grade. That's what I'm trying to get at. These buttons are freaking phenomenal. And when I was searching around for a company to buy a button box off of, there was many companies out there, and a lot of them are overseas. This one here is actually here in America. And, a lot of the stuff in the sim racing world is over in Europe. And that could get quite pricey when it comes to shipping. And that could also mean that things are going to take a while. This being over in America, if you're not in America, I definitely recommend this company. With just their customer service alone, let alone their prices, are really competitive. I'm not going to say how much this costs because, prices change. But, at the time that I bought it, it was super competitive. But that being said, if you're in America and you want a button box, these guys they're real close. They get it out to you real fast, and shipping tends to be a lot cheaper. Another thing to consider. And they're also working on a lot of neat projects right now. They got not only a ton of boards, they got these boards, they have boards that only have like a few buttons, they have dual function boards, which I thought were pretty neat, with a little switch. So you could turn your 24 into a 48 function box just by flipping a switch. It's like having FM1 and FM2 presets on your car stereo. But they're also working on, and not working on, but they already have out car gauges that you could put on your rig, like an RPM gauge, water temp, voltage, all that sort of stuff. I'm not exactly sure the voltage of one of them, but I know water temperature and oil pressure, stuff like that. And they sell a lot of the gauges too, but they're producing control boards, and they're having, I think they said a total of 10 different types of modules for 10 different types of things you could connect to your rig, and they're coming out with an all-in-one module soon, and I'm going to look into those soon. But as far as this button box goes, and simgarage.com, I highly recommend it. Very small company. It's just looks like a gentleman and his two sons are running it right now, and they're very much, you know, just as a little background into their company that I seen on their About Me page. They're very much into auto racing outside of sim racing. So, you know, it's very refreshing to see people that are into the hobby in, you know, real world scenarios, and they kind of know what is necessary and how to bring that over to the simulation experience a little bit more. And it just, you know, very well-rounded group of individuals there at the company that are making really high-end products at a really good price. I highly recommend it. I'm not going to do any gameplay footage because it's not really needed. It's a button box. It's going to be in all my videos. It's been in my videos. And instead of me showing you gameplay footage, showing you that I can do this, I could just as well tell you. And I felt that the experiences that I had with the company and my experiences with this were a little bit more important. So yeah, this is Crash signing out here. This is the 24 function slant button box by simgarage.com. Again, can't say enough about it. Can't say enough about the company. Very much thank you if you're watching this for, you know, a great customer service experience. Thank you for making this product, and thank you for making it as durable as it is. And because I'm a little rough when it comes to things, and I slammed these buttons many times already. And this box is definitely, you know, this box could take it. Yeah, if you have any questions, please list them below. I'll gladly try to help out and answer whatever I can. I hope I covered enough. If you're kind of on the fence about this company being a smaller company, whether or not you should purchase, or if you're just on the fence right now on what type of button box to go with, this is definitely a valid option, and I think it should be a part of the conversation if you are considering which one to go with. So this is Crash here. Have a good day and race on.